Greetings everyone, Eric here, and welcome back to another video. I wanted to create a video that is just as much for myself as it is for you. Basically, I was wondering, okay, how do I take, let's say I make just some crappy little, let's put it in perspective, like a line. My hand is very bad, but let's say I have a box like that. And let's say it's for a cube or something, it's in perspective, blah, blah, blah. But let's say I want to take this section here and divide it into equal amounts. Say like fourths, thirds, sixths, all that kind of stuff. Now, one of the easier methods is if you're going to do half segments, because with half segments, you can literally just take the two corners or these little corners and create a cross. And now you have the kind of the halfway mark of your item. And then what you can do is you can take that, create another cross. You got another halfway part, blah, blah, blah. And so that's how you can do it in, like, if you wanted to do it into 4 equal points in perspective. But what if you wanted to make it into thirds? Because the thirds doesn't have that halfway mark. So I wanted to figure out how to do it. And I kind of found a way of doing it, and I kind of had to, I found a method online, and I kind of had to reverse engineer it a little bit to make it work for if I have a pre-existing image. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete all of this, obviously, because I don't need it. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up our perspective ruler real quick. And all I really need is 1 point perspective. I don't need anything more than that. So we're just going to create a line here. We're going to create a line here. Now we have a 1 point perspective. And now I'm going to draw my cuboid shape. And we have that cleaned up now. So let's say I want to divide this into thirds. Now, how would I do that? Now, one of the methods I found, which was pretty interesting, is someone just showed you how to divide into multiples, so fourths, fifths, however many divisions you want to make, but it doesn't take into consideration if you already have a box set up. So I kind of had to figure that out on my own, and I did. So what you do here is, let's take this red line, and we're going to make a straight line that goes out here just infinitely. Doesn't matter. That's just there for reference. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a line from here, this top corner, like this top corner up here, through this corner here, and then have it connect to this line. Straight line tool. Now, if I try to do this any other way, it's going to follow the perspective. So what I need to do is I need to make sure I turn a lot of that off so that it no longer follows the perspective line. So we're going to start from up here, and we're going to cut through that line like that. So you can see here I went from this point through here and now here. So this is effectively this line here, but as if it was no longer in perspective. So we have kind of a point here to work with. Now we can divide this into thirds. And a fun way you can do that is just to kind of use a measurement system. So since we're doing this digitally, it's so much easier because we have rulers. So let's say we take this ruler, and using this ruler, I made a line here that is evenly distributed into thirds. So 0, 4, 8, 12, since 4 goes into 12 3 times. And because this is a vector, if I turn off the ruler real quick and just take this line, and here, let me clean that line up a little bit just to make it a little easier. Because this is a vector line, I can edit it so much easier without it losing any of its effect or any of its scaling. So I can easily move this line into place where we need it, and then as I scale it, it will scale exactly how I need it. So let's have it go there. And now we have equal thirds. And the cool thing about this is we've already got everything we need to divide this bottom line into thirds, which will allow us to make our 3 lines. So here we have this line here. What we can do is we can take, let's take another color. Let's take a blue color. And what you're going to do is where this red line intersects with your horizon line, right yeah, you're going to now take that line and take a line from here to there. So from each of your little lines here. So I can take a line from here and just go through that line where it connects. And I can do the same thing here. So from here to there. Obviously, I don't need to do it here. And where the blue lines intersect with the black line, which would be, if I were to kind of just set that up, that'd be here and here. Those are your thirds, your evenly distributed thirds. So now if we go back to, not this one, but yeah, this one, switch back over to our black line, and make sure that's back into that mode. Now I can just do, obviously it's wanting to fight me a little bit because of the snapping, but now I can do this. And then I can just come in here and erase those lines. Now, if I turn off everything, these are now even thirds in perspective. So that was something I learned, and it, like, obviously there's some finagling. This might not be perfect just because of like how I did that line originally, but you can see how this could be used to more evenly distribute lines in ways that you can't normally do when you have something that doesn't have a direct in-between. Like I said before, if I were to have done a different setup here where I would just made a, let's just do like I did before, and if I want to divide this into those different segments like I did before, I can just connect these corners, and now I have my in-between line. So yeah, if you were to divide this into a cross-section, cut that in half, you can then take another cross-section from the same area by just doing this, this, and then you have another center point, and then you can just erase a lot of these lines as you need. It's technically not thirds. I know it looks like thirds, but technically, if you're going by perspective, this section here is smaller than this whole section here, because again, perspective. So in order to make this accurate in perspective, you do have to create that last segment here, and then you can just erase those. So I know that looks weird, and it doesn't look like it's evenly divided, but you also have to remember that this is an extreme perspective. So technically, this is in equal fourths if you were to flatten that out of perspective, and this is in equal thirds, again, if you were to flatten out in perspective. So I hope you found that useful. I know it's weird, and it doesn't look right because of perspective, but it is technically correct. So I hope you found that useful. If you like this, make sure you like it, subscribe for more content, and let me know if there's anything else similar to like this that you are also struggling with. This is something that I struggle with, and I just wanted to share my experience. So I will try to continue to do this as best as I can whenever I learn something new or figure out things that other people had probably figured out a long time ago and I'm just learning about. I want to share my experience with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Later.